Hi, welcome to Draw Plans. I'm Tom Norris, and today we're looking at doing elevation plans for a kitchen. We've been working on a project in southwest London where we're actually doing a decent kitchen layout, new kitchen layout as part of the project, and I felt it might be a great opportunity to help other young designers, architectural people involved with architectural design, if you had a little look over our shoulder and see what we actually do or how we do it. So this is one I've been playing with for a few hours, and it does take a bit of time if you consider that you're going to do layout plans first. And then from that you're going to make elevations, and you've got to do it for each wall, so to speak. And then of course you got to play with the design, but essentially we get the layouts first and then we work the elevations. And this is a little bit special, and I'll explain it to you why. Over here on my right, first off, we're working on TurboCAD Deluxe. So the aim also of this lesson or tutorial is to help progress your CAD skills. I'm using the Design Director here now, so what I'm going to do is I'll just kick that off first and remind you we're working on TurboCAD Deluxe. Lovely CAD package, very simple, very straightforward. So we're going to show you how to bring up the elements that you will need to be able to design a kitchen and create layers, because we're using quite a bit of layers for this, and I'll show you how we do that. So if we go again, right click up top, we go to palettes, we pick up on tools, and we also click on Design Director. So that brings up two palettes, and you can switch between one or the other just by clicking down here. So you could, in theory, have about 6 or 8 or 10 palettes and be moving between them, but let's keep it as simple as we can. So tools we obviously need, Design Director we need because I'm using layers. So we'll come back to the layers in a minute. Let me just kind of have a little look at the plans we created yesterday. So these plans were created yesterday as part of another tutorial, and basically this is the layout for this kitchen and this given space. I'll just walk you through it. We always start in the center, in the corner. We try to work left and right. Occasionally it's a little bit of a challenge because here we've got a chimney breast in the middle which we want to integrate into the kitchen design. Client has a big 1000mm stove, so we got to get that central, but we also have to have the corner unit. So what we have here is we've got the units, and it's all laid out as in base and wall units, but what we don't have is we don't have any information. So that information is actually on text, a text layer. So if I open the text layer or release it, it starts to show it. And the text then of course is dishwasher, drawer base, stove, drawer base, base unit, drawer. So you got all your measurements here, and you got all the names of the units. So that's on a layer which we call text. So if I close the eye, untick the eye, that information goes. Up here, what we've got is an elevation plan of the same kitchen, and it's got loads of measurements. So if we want to see the measurements, fantastic, but if we want to take the measurements away or hide them, just unclick. So we have a streamlined plan. Now we've also got the doors showing here. If we want to just go back to basics, go back to the carcasses, that's what we're looking at. We've also got appliances showing. So if we want to hide the appliances, you've got the bare bones of your kitchen here. We just untick that one as well. So yeah, that's the bare bones of your kitchen based on this layout. So this is your elevation plan. Now As you can see here, this is the top of the units, and that's the ceiling, and there's lots of space up there because it's a really tall room. And so when we get a real tall room, it kind of presents an opportunity which you generally wouldn't get in on an average room. So because this is such a large room, I brought in this photo here. This is a project I did a couple of years back in Kensington. It was a very high ceiling in a studio, not a studio, but in a 2-bedroom flat. And this was the kitchen that was built in. I designed it and project managed, so I was there to see it all go in. And as you can see, even an average kitchen, which is about 2,300 mil up to here, and then we still got units all the way around the top. Now, I think perhaps the elements here that made this kitchen was the glass, and again the introduction of glass and lighting. In fact, there was lighting in here as well. And bearing in mind, because it's in Kensington, it's not a kitchen that's going to get hammered. It's a kitchen that is very much going to get light use, and so in other words, it's more to do with design than anything else. But again, I wanted to show you this picture just to show you that in certain situations it's okay to add on, and by adding on you can really create a kitchen that is stunning. And to me, this is a gorgeous looking kitchen and really suitable for the environment it's in. Okay, so what we're going to do here, this is what the client was looking at, and he had some quotes and some presentations done by a few kitchen companies. But when I saw it, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to see what it would look like with the extra units added, like here. And I thought, okay, let's sketch it out. So we're doing the plan, so why not? Let's sketch it out. So this is showing the doors and the drawers and so on. I better put the appliances in, otherwise we've got a floating saucepan there. So now we're showing the appliances: oven, microwave, little wine cooler, big fridge, freezer, that sort of thing. Now, so what I'd like to see now is the impact of, say, a few glass doors, and I've built these in as well. Here we are. And I'm using layers now. Yeah, if I want to group elements of the drawing, I create up here, I go new. So I'll do it for you in a minute so that you actually learn how to do it. So I put in, and there's a bit of color now with the glass doors and so on. And in fact, you can do it more if you want, but at the end of the day, too much glass means that anything behind the glass is going to be display really rather than functional. So you're going to get glasses up here. You're not going to get easy access. So it's got to be nice display, especially in the glass units. And down here, so if I put in too much glass, then it means that I'm depriving you of an opportunity for using kitchen cupboards in the normal way, which is to pack them up with cups, tea bags, and you name it. So I've just put it in, and again, it's to give a feel. It's to give the feel of that. And I tend to think we could, as a little transformation, we could move them to here, or we could make this a double and have nothing there. We could move this, so you can move around and play with it. But at the moment, all I want to do is let the client examine the additional units and the impact, and then getting a few glass doors in, see what he feels like. Because you can see this is the ceiling height on now as against the ceiling height there and all this space above, which this would make a stunning kitchen. And this is the other wall, the end wall here. I decided not to go on any glass here, but it is feasible. If we want to do it, we could do any of those units in glass. to give it some added color and so on. Didn't bother doing the island, but the idea on the tutorial here, or on this lesson, was to show you how to do the elevations. And again, the elevations, it looks easy enough, it looks simple enough, but there's a fair bit of skill involved in being able to create these elevations. So let me give you a little example. So if I could just pull this up, and now I'm going to pop in measurements, pull it up a little bit less, I think, so that we can see the measurements. Now, so if you look, measurements are crucial when you're designing. You need to know the heights of things, the lengths of unit, the height of a larder unit, the height of your kickboard. You need to know this stuff, and you need to know requirements, say legal requirements for getting, you need more space above a cooker or above an oven or a hob. Generally, the trend seems to be getting a bit more space again above the sink. There's a little sink unit there. So you need to kind of start to understand like the unit sizes, 3 mil, 300, 400, 600, 800. Not all the kitchen companies have the same units. So for example, IKEA have widths of units that start at 4, 6, 8 and 12. They don't do 1000, and they don't do 500s, and they don't do 300s. So when you're designing, you're slightly limited because of that. You go to, say, Wren or Wix or Magnet, and then you're going to get the 300, 500, 600, but maybe they don't do the 4, or maybe they don't do the 8. So you have to know if the kitchen is going to be a particular brand, you have to know what the sizes of those units are, which means you have to get familiar. You go on the Magnet Kitchen website, you go on the IKEA website, you start looking at their carcasses, and effectively start to learn about the heights and the height of the doors and so on. So these doors are 900 are pretty standard. You also, the next size down is 715 if you wanted to have shorter units. And then of course there's shorter units again, which are effectively the height of these. I think it's 585. And of course, if you go to IKEA, you have the option to have 1000. So there's a lot of different sizes. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And you have to kind of know what your sizes are, because there's no point in you creating a kitchen if you can't get the units and the doors at the end of the day. So lots of homework. So it takes a bit of time to acquire the knowledge and learn about the different sizes and what you can get away with. So right now I'm using 2003 on this, which is the maximum height of a larder unit. In fact, it's we allow 150 for the legs. So it's 150 plus the rest to make up 2003. 2150 would be the height. And also, when we're doing the larder units, let me go to this side. This is a pull-out larder, but in some cases, you might have it in 2 sections. So then the doors have to you either keep this line going, or you keep that line going, but you wouldn't have a door. Perhaps it wouldn't be even Steven here. The likelihood is you'll keep the doors line going all the way. But again, you have to learn that there is, if this was an integrated fridge freezer, the top door will usually come down to here, and then you have a short door for the freezer. But if it's what we call a 50-50 fridge freezer, then you're going to end up with a middle door. And so these are all the factors you got to add in on your plans. At the moment I'm showing a little bit of a plinth at the back, which is generally you got your quartz worked up and a little bit of quartz going up the back. That seems to be the popular choice at the moment. Integrated extractor, concealed dishwasher, sink in here. And another trend is which you're picking up a lot, is the hot water tap, as in boiling water. So now we get taps with boiling water, with iced cold water, and then regular water. which is great. But the price range, cheap end would be 300. The premium product about £1,000. That's where we're going. So what else am I going to show you here? I'm explaining to you that, for example, this took about 2 hours to come up with a layout. This took about best part of another 2 hours to create. That was 4. And then we went with a few modifications by going up, adding glazing, bits and pieces, finding the right appliances and so on. About 6 hours. So you're looking at about 7 hours work here. And you have to understand that that's me spending 6 or 7 hours of work doing or creating these plans. But at the end of the day, if it's someone who doesn't have the experience and don't really know how to use the CAD very well, or doesn't know what the sizing should be, then it's a huge learning curve. So you might end up spend 2 or 3 days just to be able to create that look. I think I've shown you enough about kitchens on the kitchen plans for this tutorial. So it was about the design director. I said I'd show you how to put in elements by adding a layer. So I'm going to add a layer, and we're going to call this layer drawers. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go new layer. I'm going to call it DRAWERS. I'm going to go OK. So we got a new layer called drawers. I'm going to switch it off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign elements of the drawing to the layer. So if we pick that particular door or drawer, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I apply it here. And the eye is not showing, which means the drawers are not showing. So now if I want to see the drawers are there. So that's how you create layers, and that's how you can create almost minimalist looking plans. And just by clicking here, you can then show anything you want in whatever order you want. Fantastic for printing off if you've got a client that would like to see it with loads of measurements, either imperial, or if you wanted to add measurements here like mad for metric or imperial, just create another layer, do it, and then of course when you're done you can switch them off so they're not bothering you all the time. If you want to create a tile plan here and do tiles, you can do it under another layer. So you're getting the drift. But the idea is that where you're creating lots of detail, use the layers and use Design Director. And it's not rocket science, but it's fantastic. Once you get into it, it's really fantastic. Okay, that's about as much as I'm going to show you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the lesson. And keep in mind, if you're looking at this and you're wondering and you have queries, and I routinely leave something important out, so don't be shy. Come on back and just leave a comment or leave a question, and I'll answer you as soon as I can. But I do get around to it, so I do answer the queries, and I'm always happy to receive them, because it means that you didn't fall asleep, you actually watched some of the video, which is brilliant. Okay, thanks a bunch. See you on the next video. Bye bye.